What's up? It's your girl, Micca, the Badass Unicorn.
And it's your girl, Just Right Jules.
And you're now watching the Red Cup Podcast.
Well, this week has been interesting. So, in our this week's DMV State of the Union, let's get into Marilyn Mosby in Baltimore. What is going on, Micca?
I'm going to let you talk about her first.
Okay, so word is Marilyn Mosby spent some money from her campaign and bought some houses and some properties. Apparently, there's not a lot of truth to that, and she's up against, she's got to go to court, I think like middle of May or something like that. And they're saying that she's like wrongfully accused of this. This is what Angela Rye and a few other people in political positions have been saying. And to me, I like my girl Marilyn from everything she did with Freddie Gray and everything like that. If the woman went out and bought property on her own money, then by all means, what's the harm in that? And I also feel like as a Black woman in power, they're always going to have a target on your back. So it's just like you kind of got to keep it clean and cute. You can't go out here doing certain things because as a Black woman or just being Black in general, you already got a target on your back. So it's like this is where, as a person in that position, I feel like you should know better. Yeah. But if you don't know better, you should do better.
I'm going to say I agree and disagree because I will say I think when we had that Freddie, the Freddie Gray case happen, everybody was really trying to come up off of that. And, me with politicians, you don't waste any crisis. Right? You can use anything to come up off of. And I think she's no different. I mean, yeah, she's a woman, she's Black, but she's a politician.
Right.
So at the same time, she, used that to gain that popularity. Now, when you really get in there, you find out, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can only do a little bit of this because you promised so much stuff, but then you really find out how it actually worked. Then you just like, I think a lot of them just be like, F it, I'm going to just get in where I fit in, and I'm going to do me. Where it comes in with Marilyn is she literally used, she misappropriated funds. And a lot of politicians do this. I'll give her that. A lot of politicians do this, but it's still wrong. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to cut her no slack just because she's, a minority, Black, whatever you want to say, right? A woman, whatever. I'm not cutting her no slack. And then, to me, just by being, a minority woman, then you got to think of all the other minority women who are in the hot seat. Fannie Wilson, Tiffany Henyard. So Fannie Wilson is if y'all don't know, is the DA in Georgia who was busting it down for a real one. Okay. Her man called her a gorilla grip. Okay, this all came out in court. This is not me. This is the court, right? So she's actually misappropriating funds. She's calling herself using trying to prosecute Trump, but at the same time, you got to think she was prosecuting. She's also the one using lyrics to prosecute rappers. That's her. So she's going to use your lyrics to prosecute you. Whatever, that's fine. But you can't prosecute somebody who used to be the district attorney for. The defense attorney for. So she's already in that camp. She knows the insides and the inner workings and everything. And now you're going to prosecute them as the DA. Like, ma'am, it's a conflict of interest, all of that. So you got to think of that. And then you're doing stuff with your with the state funds and things like that. But you're trying to prosecute Trump on something. It's like, ma'am, you're already doing something wrong.
Okay, and that goes back to my initial point, which was as a Black woman or as a Black person in general, you're going to have a target on your back in general. So you got to keep it clean. You can't do stuff like that. And so for her, it's messy. It's messy. But with Marilyn Mosby, on the other hand, if it is true that she used her own money to do that, then by all means, why is she being held accountable for something that she did not do?
Because she didn't use her own money, and that's the problem. So, like, when you get into, like, state politics, a lot of the times, they use a lot of the funding, and they run it like a business. But it can get very convoluted. Like, I think with Marilyn, what probably happened is she used them funds that she was getting from the state to do whatever she wanted to do and thought she was going to put that shit back. And they was just like, nah, ma'am, we see it. We see it.
I mean, that's very possible. That's very possible. And I'm not here to doubt it. I'm not here to doubt it. I mean, I just think that personally, it's way more other people that are out here doing way more stuff with
There's
funds.
tons. I agree.
But I think that what she did was she messed herself up because they've been out for her since Freddie Gray. Them people been coming for her. So it's like when you're in that position and you know people coming from you, you have to be
gotta
smart.
be above board.
Yeah, and you have to have integrity about how you choose to do it. So if she did do it, then
she deserves everything she gets.
It's unfortunate to see a black woman in that position to go down. As a black woman, you never want to see another black woman go down. So I feel bad for her, especially when there's people in power, in positions right now, that's abusing their power, that are using funds and money to do all types of stuff, and they're not getting crucified.
But when you speak on the abuse of power, which she was speaking on, you can't go back and do the same thing that you just crucified somebody else for.
What's the saying? Die by the sword, live by the sword. Like, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah.
So the same sword that you're talking about.
Yeah, you about to die on it. You clearly about to die on it.
I mean, I'm interested to see the facts. I'm interested to see the ruling because my thing is, if we got Trump running for president right now and he got all the stuff he got going on and he's still able to get through what he's gone through.
The difference is, though, it's his money. It ain't my money. So if she's using her money and want to be getting in all the type of criminals, girl, go ahead.
But that's not fair to. I just look at it like
does.
this. But it's like, why throw the hammer at her if you're not going to throw the hammer at every other person that's misappropriating funds?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. If you're using your money and you want to get into criminal activity,
right?
Well, I don't really care. But if you're using my tax money that I could have kept in my check, no. And that's all I'm saying. I don't care what she does. Okay. She can do whatever she wants, because at the end of the day, to get up into certain places, you're gonna be making promises to certain type of people. You're gonna be lobbying. You're gonna do a lot of different stuff. But I think it's unfair when you get into everyday, because the most of the people that pay taxes are everyday average people that are barely, and I do mean barely, able to pay certain things, and you're gonna use that to, get yourself into generational wealth or whatever like that. It's the same thing you just said you were complaining about in the power structure and the whatever that powers that may be. And you're turning around and you're doing the same thing. So it makes no sense to me.
So do you think they're going to convict her?
I don't think they're going to convict her because y'all. I know you don't want to hear it, but a lot of y'all Democrats don't get convicted.
Don't do that to us.
Y'all don't get convicted.
I mean,
y'all don't get convicted.
We don't get convicted.
Y'all don't get convicted.
We got a man that belongs in an orange suit running for president right now. So you mean to tell me?
Y'all trying y'all hard to get that man
Hey. Because I mean, my thing is, if he's broke the law, why is he able to get away scot free? Because he has money? Like, why is people with money able to get away with crimes and stuff like that? Broke people got to struggle because they can't pay for the crimes that they do. My thing is, when you get to a certain level of money, you can just pretty much pay to do a crime.
That's facts.
So if we're going to come from Marilyn Mosby and her doing what she did, it's people out here that got money in sex trafficking, drugs, and some more stuff, and we're not coming for them.
I agree, but El Chapo used his money. He didn't use my taxpayer money.
Lord Jesus.
That's all I'm saying. He used his money.
I respect it, but
I'm not saying that it's not wrong. I'm not having a wrong or right argument. I'm having a don't use my money to do it.
Don't use my money. I got you. I respect that.
So if you're going to do this crime, you do the crime, you're going to do the time. Don't use my money.
She ain't going to do no time, because if Trump ain't had to do no time, why should she?
She's not going to do no time, just like Fannie ain't going to do no time. Just like Tiffany Henyard of Dalton. I don't care how many FBI agents go in there.
That's a hot mess right there.
They're not going to put that woman in jail. So at the end of the day, all these people, whether you Democrat or Republican, all these people are doing whatever the hell they want to do.
So what does that say about black women in power?
It says a lot. It says they're no different.
I mean, I will say this. If black women was in power, right? And this is just me. This is my, whatever. First and foremost, black women, we some smart individuals, right? So all the times when we got trades and terrorist stuff going on, I feel like as a black woman, we can solve a lot of the problems in our world, okay? And the reason being is because like a good, solid, loyal, with integrity type of woman, they can solve some problems. Because first and foremost, any woman that can find out where their man's location is when they cheating and so more and whatever the case may be, we be on it. If a man is cheating, if a man is doing something else, we be like investigators, detectives. We're like the best to do it.
Put that energy into something good.
But we are the best to do it. So if Black women were in power, and I feel like the world is really threatened by Black women. I feel like the biggest threat in the world is a Black woman. They don't want us in certain positions because they know our influence. They know what we can do.
Okay, so if you think that, right? If you think that, then why? Right? So if you think that, then maybe other Black women think that, right?
Of course.
Okay, cool. So then why would you do what you're doing now? It just makes it worse.
I mean,
it make it worse.
My thing is this: if she went out to create a better life for herself, you have people that are in power that have 4 or 5 homes. They have money. They have kids. The kids got money. The kids got trust fund. They're out here building generational wealth. So she goes out and get a property in Florida, whatever the case may be,
but you can do all this stuff legally. You're making enough money to do.
Who's to say she isn't? Who's to say that she didn't do it legally?
Them damn charges.
But even then, how much proof is it in that? Because I hear another take that says she used her own money.
Right, but okay, but me and you can go out and get properties. We're not in jail. Me and you can buy land and stuff like that. We're not in jail.
Right.
So obviously it's something there, whether it's as big as they're making it out to be, or whether it's as small. That's the never mind. It's something there.
Nah, they've been out for her since that Freddie Gray stuff.
But you got to give them something. You have to give them something.
Right. I mean, I get it, but it's like, I feel bad in a sense for her because when she did what she did with the Freddie Gray stuff, that wasn't nothing bad. She didn't, with her decisions that she chose to make, they were not bad decisions at all.
But she wasn't in jail.
But it was because she went against the police department. And so now you go against the police department and you get all these officers in jail and stuff like that. You are putting a target on your back. So it didn't matter what she did. The girl could have went and pooped in a tree and they would have found something to say that there was something wrong with that.
No, they sat and waited because I keep telling you, with every politician, there's going to come a day where you're going to be like, yeah, I'm skating. I'm getting away with this. I'm getting away with that. Now you're comfortable and they know it. You're going to get laxed.
Okay.
You're going to get very lax and we're going to end up getting you.
Okay.
And it always happens. Black, white, fat, slim, it don't matter.
No, if you a certain color and got a certain amount of money in your account, you can get away with way more than a Black woman. Period. You ain't gonna.
I don't know.
And let's just be real. You know, you might be on a lighter shade of things, but you might be on a lighter shade of things. But your ass is Black, and they gonna treat you like a Black woman. So it's like at the end of the day, that's like someone saying, "Oh well, Micca ran the speed light and she owe $100 ticket," and then they blow it all up like you blasted all over whatever. Meanwhile, this is the same person that got like 1,000 worth of a speeding ticket.
And they might be right, but I don't give a damn. I'm not giving the state none of that. So they might be right. I'm gonna be quiet before I get a boot. But
I'm just saying.
I'm dead ass. Like at the end of the day, it's always something there. Like I said, it could be exaggerated. It could be minimum, but it's something there. So if you are advocating for something, why give them something?
True. So I can respect your position.
That's my whole thing.
Allegedly, if she did it, allegedly.
So let me move to Tiffany. Tiffany Henyard, there is no allegedly. That woman, to have a whole, okay, I'm not gonna lie. Watching Tiffany is funny. It's funny. It's
That's
entertaining.
like a movie.
It's entertaining. The whole Nino Brown at the town hall meeting, it was hilarious. However, it's still incorrect. It's still wrong. She, the way she treats the residents in a small town. I live in a small town. You only have but so much funds, and to spend 50, 100 grand on seafood is the most ghetto thing I ever seen in my life. Right? And you're not doing it to white people. You're doing it to your own people. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't have respect for it. I don't care if she's Black. I don't have respect for it.
We can agree on that one. Like I'm not even about to debate. You merit everything I have to say on that, because that's a whole hot mess. And my thing is this: as Black women, as much as I love us, we got to make sure we represent each other well, because they're going to see this one woman, Tiffany, and going to assume that every black woman is just like that. And that's just not the case. There's some women out here that have integrity, that are not going to be on some ghetto hood booger stuff. And that's a hot mess. I can't even formulate my thoughts because she make us look bad. She make us look, and then she a brown skin chick, man. She just making me look bad. She making me look bad. I'm not like that. So it's like, it makes me look bad. I mean, Marilyn Mosby, one different situation. I feel like hers is a little bit more genuine. Tiffany's is way more ghetto, way more ratchet. It's giving hood booger with a side of sugar.
The king and queen of Dalton jackets. The
Nino Brown joint was the one.
The Nino Brown took me out. We probably had to add that in here. The Nino Brown took me out. That clip.
When I seen that clip, I was like, what in the ghetto fabulous is going on?
No, I went and actually watched the whole town hall meeting because I said, it's no way. This is not possible. She sat there the whole night and nobody ain't gonna say nothing else. I said, yo, that woman is hilarious. But
all black women are like that. Not all black women are like that. PSA. All black women ain't like Tiffany.
Yeah, but when you are in that position, she's not taking it seriously. And anybody that goes up against her, who happens to be a whole black, the trustees are all black. Mm-hmm. Everybody in that town damn near is black. Mm-hmm. So the people that are going up against you are not the man. It's black people. They have a problem with you.
Right.
Like that girl is hilarious, but she
remind me of the principal off of Abbott. It's just like you can't. It's like you can't take her seriously.
No, you cannot take her seriously. When I'm telling you, I'm like, lock her up, but I'm laughing the whole time.
Imagine living there.
No, you're laughing, but you're not laughing, because the problem is she's stopping people from starting their businesses. Like anybody that says anything against her, she's just like, I'm just gonna lock you up, or I'm gonna stop you from doing this. So now when they sue her, like when the people that are doing business sue her, you're suing the people. So the people are getting in double. It's just like, get that woman the hell out.
Man, yeah, she's a hot mess.
I can't take that.
Man, bump that woman and her antics. I'm gonna have to take a shot. We're gonna have to pivot on this one.
We gonna
because she got me looking bad as a brown skinned chick, man. She making me look bad out here. Like brown skinned girls down.
Went to Las Vegas, had all the seafood in the world. I said, girl, $50,000 of seafood. Where the hell did you go?
I mean, honestly, it's sad because I'm like, I want to know what it was. I want to know what the platter was, because being a Maryland girl, Maryland girls like seafood. That's a trap there.
I'm trying to figure out where she went. Ain't no snow king crab.
She had some fried lobster tails, some soft shell, some caviar, and some other stuff. I'm like, shawty, I don't even know if I spent that much in my lifetime, and I'm from Maryland, by the wharf.
The wigs be laid. So I know she's spending money on the wigs.
Oh, she got the good wigs.
The good wigs.
Man, imported.
No, I said, get her
straight off the Dominican head.
It is an embarrassment.
She done took the hair from your people, girl.
I'm Cuban. Y'all gonna stop this. I'm Cuban. It's not Puerto Rican. It's not Dominican. It's not Mexican. I'm Cuban.
Cuban. The Cuban mommy. The Cuban mommy.
So we're gonna move to sports. So everybody knows that we're Redskins fans. Okay. I'm sorry. Commanders is still in.
Right. Or the Commodores, however you want to choose to call it. Because we respect the Commodores. So if you say the Commodores, it's no shade. Lionel Richie and them did their thing. Okay? You're not offending me.
Look, at the end of the day, look, they start out the Skins. I'm going to call them Skins. However, we got the NFL draft this week. Mm-hmm. So we got a new quarterback. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm loving it. I am, you already know. Everybody that knows me knows I love my Redskins/Commanders, or Redskins X-Commanders, however you want to call it.
Skins.
The Skins, okay? Hell to the Redskins. Okay, so Jalen Daniels, I'm loving him. The one thing I will say is that, I want him to get a little bit more weight on him, because it's the big leagues. You know what I'm saying? Like, go time, it's the big league. And I feel like if he get a little bit more weight, he can be able to kind of maneuver a little bit better, and I don't have to be worried about injuries.
So a lot of people were talking about that, right? Mm-hmm. They were talking about the fact that, when we had a superstar, All-American, can do everything, quarterback, RG3, the Redskins really just did him dirty.
Right.
And so they're wondering, like, is this going to happen again
No,
with
it's
a
not.
young quarterback?
I don't believe that we're going to face the same woes that we've experienced with previous quarterbacks personally, because we have a whole new owner, whole new GM, whole new front office. Like I can't even go down the list of all the new things that we have going on. The only thing we don't have is a new stadium, in which that's probably coming soon, okay?
And it needs to come back to DC.
It needs to come back to DC. I drove past RFK just to get here today, and I was just like,
over.
I don't care because I'm in the middle of both. So it's like the best of both worlds for me. But what I'll say is that I don't think people need to base things off of previous, teams that we've had, because we had Dan Snyder. Bye, Dan. He's gone. So we ain't got to worry about that. We got a new name. So we're ridden of all of the negative juju that can come from the Redskins. Even though
it's not, because
people want it back.
Yeah, because and preferably a lot of the natives, because they were making that was a real chief that was on the helmet.
Right.
But I'm gonna let it slide, y'all, the woke people. Go ahead.
This also came after the whole Freddie Gray, going back to the Freddie Gray that came after the whole George Floyd, the Freddie Gray, all that stuff.
I understand certain sentiments, but people got to do their research when they talk about these things, because you don't know who you're impacting financially, right? That literally was somebody's identity and copyright face. All they were getting paid from that,
right?
And so now you done took away a whole income, and this is off topic, but it's the same as the Aunt Your Mama, sir.
I'm still mad about that, because
if a whole family was getting paid from that. A whole black family was getting, and you allowed them to take
But kept the name,
and the people still buying the damn shirt.
But kept the name. Oh no, did they change the name? They changed the name.
What the company is, right? I think the Pearl Company or something like that. But whatever it is, some of that money was going to.
But we still got the Quaker. But we still got the Quaker Oats guy. So make that make sense.
Who's that? Oh, the cream of wheat?
Yeah, the Quaker. So in theory, I'm like, all right, as a Redskins fan, I could be biased to this because, I grew up, whatever. But I always thought, like, if you have a mascot, that's paying homage. Like, no one's, like, insulting the mascot. So us having the Redskin, it was like, and some will say, because I ain't trying to get cancel culture to come for me. Some will say that you don't want to be called niggas, so somebody don't want to be called Redskin. Let's just face the facts or whatever, right? I get that, but we wasn't saying it in a negative way. We were saying Redskin in a positive, paying homage. The same way if you were to say, I'm rooting for the Bills or the Bears or the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, no one says anything about the Chiefs. The Chiefs,
the Seminoles.
The Chiefs is what?
The Seminoles.
But what is the Chiefs? The chief of what?
Yeah, they're talking about natives.
Okay, so if we're gonna have teams like the Chief, but the thing about it is their emblem was not obviously anything of an Indian or anything like that, and nor is their name say anything like a racial slur.
But isn't a Seminole like a arrow?
An arrow, yes, and I think they do still have an Indian, or they may be removing it because they're trying to do more to swap those things out. But at the end of the day, we know that it wasn't like a negative connotation towards the Redskins. It was a positive connotation.
It's not racial. And it's not a racial thing at all.
It shouldn't be.
People look too deep into stuff. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Like, it's not always there.
It's not always racial.
Yeah.
It is times it's racial.
That's what I said.
But this time it's not racial. Yeah. It's love. And I'm loving what my Commanders are doing. I think that between Jalen Daniels, we got a cornerback. I don't know all the players because we're recording this right now during the draft. So we might got some more players that have came. Yeah. But by all means, I'm going to be front and center September 8th. And I'm ready for the games, because people are like, oh, y'all saying it's y'all year again. Y'all saying, I'm like, okay, I'm not a Cowboys. I'm not saying it's my year.
We're definitely not Cowboys fans. I'm going to tell y'all that right now.
We're not Cowboys. We do happen to be married to some Cowboys fans, right? But
I don't know them.
But we don't know them when September, August come around. We don't know our husbands. It's like a divided household. But I will say that I am very impressed with what we did in this postseason, like this off season. All the little free agents that we picked up, very satisfied with that and very happy with what we picked up in the draft. It's going to be an explosive season. I'm not going to predict too much because I'm not going to be that person. But you know what I'm saying? Just holler back at me in December and we'll see who's on the couch then.
Cowboys. They always on the couch.
We'll see who's on the couch then. Because they did nothing. They did nothing in the offseason. And let me tell you, girl.
And then they just re-signed that.
Girl, no. How about I was at the store today, right? And I had on my little Redskin shirt. And I was thinking I was real cute doing my little errands. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I thought I was cute. Thought I was cute. Just a little bit. And so the guy spoke to me, this little older guy. He's probably like in his 70s. He was like, oh, you a Redskin fan? What they gonna do? What they gonna do? So I'm like, hey, they might do something, right? So this girl, she gonna turn around and look at me and just mug me up and down like.
And what was she?
A Cowboys fan. And I was like, boo. Like, I looked at her like, we wasn't even talking to you. She was like, your team ain't gonna do. Look, she looked me up and down and said, your team ain't gonna do nothing. Now, everything in me knew that I'm a lady. And I'm not about to fight this lady. I'm not gonna fight this lady in no gas station. But I had to say, boo, what did your team do in this offseason? Nothing. You didn't pick up no free agents that I know of. And if they were, they probably ain't that good. And you didn't really pick up much in the draft. And then you went back in the draft and you let a good player that you probably could have used go. I ain't gonna swell too much on the Cowboys because that ain't my beef, because I actually don't want y'all to do good. So I'm happy that you didn't pick up nobody in the offseason. I'm happy that you didn't get no draft picks. By all means, keep doing what you're doing. Keep Dak. He can stay forever. Okay? Jerry Jones, you can stay there till the day you die.
But you know he is. You know he is, because he was just like that with Tony Romo. Like, when he gets somebody, he's married to it. I'm going to tell y'all how sorry the Cowboys is, right?
Oh, shoot.
How sorry they are. I have never in my lifetime seen them win. That can tell you either how young I am. I've never seen them win. That can tell you how young I am, or it's a championship or nothing.
No. Well, they won Super Bowls. I can't knock what they've done.
When I was in diapers.
I mean, I was a little.
Like I said, I've never seen it, and I never will. So don't come from our skins, because
I've seen my team win. So don't come from me, because I've seen them go to the Super Bowl twice in my lifetime. I didn't go to the games or anything because I was like a child, but that's not the point. And we don't need to worry about how old I am now to say how long ago it was that they went. But the reality is,
it don't matter. It don't matter. They be trying to use that against us. They be like, oh, well, y'all haven't been so long.
But you know what it is? Let me tell you why. Because when they beat us, that's their Super Bowl. See, they ain't setting their bar high enough. They keep talking about they going to the Super Bowl. Their Super Bowl is just beating us. They come to Thanksgiving. They come to us.
They come to your house and we're gonna win.
We're gonna win. Like, I mean, if this is your standard of Super Bowl, then by all means we'll be your Super Bowl. But baby, we got better goals next year. We're going for the big one. And I feel like what we doing right now, this is the beauty about what I like the most about what Washington's doing. I like the fact that we are creating a team of a lot of talent.
Yeah.
We're doing it the right way, filling in the holes. But the next thing is, people are not going to know what to expect of us next year. So they're not going to know how to play us defensively. Yeah. They're not going to know what to do, because from what it looks like, our new QB can run and throw. So if he can run and throw, that's why we're looking at a Jalen Hurts.
But that's why I gave the comparison of the RG3 and things like that, because I still, if you're watching RG, I still felt like you should have been our franchise. Like, you should have been our franchise. Like, what he was doing then, quarterbacks are doing now.
Yeah, I mean, RG3 was great for what he was. And RG3, if you're watching, which you probably are watching, I'm going to say that I love when you was here. You added like a spark to the team. You added a spark to the DC area. Like, I was ready to go to the game. I actually went to a few of the games when you were there. And I remember, like, I played the Giants game. We even started
eating Subway.
Yeah, because we got the foot on. Yes. And Papa John's. It was like we was getting a Papa John's like it was nothing. So I respect what RG3 did, but I also feel like Daniel Snyder put him on a pedestal. And I think that RG3 got bigger than himself. That last game in which he got like extremely, where he got hurt to pretty much like ended the injury.
That game reminded me of, have you ever seen Any Given Sunday?
Yeah.
They let him just get, who was it? Was it Trent?
Jamie Foxx?
Yeah. But who was it on the field? Was it Trent? I think it was Trent.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't,
I don't remember. It's been a minute.
Yeah, because it's been a minute. But if it wasn't, forgive me. But I think it was Trent. Just sat on the field, twiddling his thumbs, just letting RG just get.
Oh, Trent Williams. Yeah, and now he's over at 49ers. Yeah.
I'm like, hold up. Y'all not gonna protect him at all.
You know why? because he became bigger than the game. And that's where I think RG3 now, 10 years later, he can look back or 12 years later at this point, he can look back and say, damn, when I was young, when you're young, you make decisions. You get above yourself.
But it wasn't him. Like, if you're just that, like, they don't do that to Tom.
Tom get his perks on another way.
But they don't do that to Tom. Like, everybody knows Tom was that franchise.
Tom was that franchise, but Tom was also very much the guy that would go over to the officials after the game and say, you fucked up. Like, he was the nigga that will come off the field when they called a bad play and throw his helmet and throw Gatorade and stuff like that. So, to me, it's like, that was because...
Tom is seasoned, though. But what I'm saying is, everybody know what he is, right?
Right, but they're competitive, yeah.
But to go back to your point from earlier, right? Why don't the players give the black quarterback that same respect? They gave it to Tom.
That's not based on the fans. That's based on the media outlets in which chooses to talk about.
I'm not talking about the media. I'm talking about the players. The players on the Redskins team, black.
Right, but then you go to a player when you had, see, there was a difference. Okay, so this is what happened. RG3, they protected him for a long time until RG3 thought he was the team. And that's when they stopped protecting him the way that they wanted to protect him, because they knew that he was...
They don't do it to Tom. Tom is that team.
He put that team in... RG3... Respectfully, you put the team in danger when you decided, when you were hurt, that you were going to go back out on the field. After you scored those first 2 touchdowns and you got us up 14-0
you talking about that knee?
to the Seahawks. I remember that game clear as day. Once you got us to 14-0 against the Seahawks, we already have a reputation against the Seahawks. At that point, as a leader, sometimes you got to know when to bow out. And that was where you should have said, look, coach, I can't play no more. Mike Shanahan wasn't going to let that boy play. What happened was, he went up probably to Dan Snyder.
You know, Shanahan didn't want him there.
He didn't want him there in the first place. But the thing is,
he wanted a pocket passer.
But Dan pulled a power move and said he needs to be in the game, because RG3 said he wanted to still be playing because he thought he was a superhero. Nigga, we is human. You gonna get hurt.
But that is the only time I actually agree with Shanahan's call, because technically he really wanted Kirk Cousins. Because why do you draft RG3 and Kirk Cousins?
But you want to know what's crazy, right? All those coaches that was on that team during that time, they all have hot head coaching positions. So you have little Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, no, Kyle is good.
Kyle is good.
He's
Sean McVay.
His dad is great. It's just that when he was with the Redskins,
we're not going to say the Redskins. We're going to say when him working with Dan Snyder and Bruce Allen. Yeah. Those were the people that were the issue. Bruce Allen did not like Kirk Cousins, and that's the reason why Kirk Cousins left. Now, and shout out to Kirk Cousins, because I know it's a rough week. It's a rough week for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, in the draft now, they got another quarterback for the Falcons, in which Falcons already paid Kirk Cousins all that money to come to the Falcons, and now they get a quarterback at the 8th round. That's like a big topic right now. Like, how does this make Kirk feel? Now you got a backup quarterback that they just got off the draft, and now you got somebody that's waiting for your position when all those years you played under RG3, waiting for your opportunity. You go to Minnesota, you get an opportunity, you get hurt, and now he secured the bag. But to me, he's still winning because he secured the bag. He's got $90 million guaranteed. Yeah. But now you got another quarterback that's trying to come for your job at some point. And they keep trying to say, oh, this is the future. Well, most people are not thinking about their future quarterback when they just got the new quarterback that's supposed to be taking care of the present. So it's some controversy within that. But what I'll say is I absolutely love Kirk. I wish we would have kept Kirk built around him.
I liked RG a whole lot.
Right.
But I also did like Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I felt like they did RG dirty, I thought they should have, at least now you got Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Build around that.
Right.
They didn't do that either. So
I don't think they did. I don't think they did RG 30. I don't think they did him dirty.
And the Washington Post, y'all definitely did him dirty. Y'all didn't have to catch that knee bending like that.
Nah, I mean they did not have to do that because for all that time we had to hear RG knee the whole time. And I mean I was in the I remember I was at
all them Giants fans I'm friends with. Oh my God.
I was at Texas Roadhouse when that injury happened. And when I tell you I was dealing with this dude who hated the Redskins, and he laughed.
Because
and I mean,
the Washington Post was shady. I don't know who got that. Whoever got that picture needs to have
that drum was savage. And it's sad because I got a photographic memory of the yellow pants and the pink something going on. It was shady. God. But in theory, like, RG did that to himself to some degree. Like, that was ownership and RG3. So Dan Snyder, RG3 were the reasons why RG3 got hurt. Then Jay Gruden, he didn't really help the situation either. So right now, we're in a good space. We got new ownership. We got new GM. I still think there's certain things that they can work on the culture. But I feel like we need to make sure, like, the culture is good. We need to make sure, because there's a lot of fair weather fans. Like, I've been seeing people saying, like, why do we pick this person or why do we pick that person? Well, let me tell you something. You're not getting paid to determine who gets what position, okay? That's why you're where you are and I'm where I'm at. Yeah. If we were experts at this, edit that part. If we were expert at this, everybody would be doing it. Look, she's saying no. Look, I got a little, the little prosecco is kicking in. But no, at the end of the day, we're not experts. We're not football people. We did not go to school for this. Let the experts do what they're going to do. And if they fuck up, then by all means, go to another team. You do not have to stay here. We do not need no bad juju, no negative fans or anything like that. It's one thing to talk shit a little bit, but when you start deciding, oh, well, they should have did this, they should have did that, then nigga, guess what? You could have been in that position too. So if you really got something to say, go apply for a job on NFL.com. Other than that, keep your opinion to yourself because it's optics, not your opinion. That's what I've got to say.
Lord. Oh, yeah. I'm going to pivot.
Optics over opinion.
I'm going to pivot because I got a whole lot to say. So let's pivot. Let's go to our next topic. So let's go into the black vote. So,
you want a shot for this one right here?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
because y'all,
we
let me tell y'all, me and Micca do not agree on politics or the black vote. We don't agree. We don't agree.
Go ahead.
We don't agree, y'all. I love her though.
And since we talking about black, what we're taking a shot of is Uncle Nearest. So I know y'all know a lot about Uncle Nearest, right? Uncle Nearest is under Jack Daniels, and it's black owned. So I thought it was and it's a really good whiskey. Like I'm a whiskey girl. I'm a dark anything girl. Take that for what you will. But because I know some of y'all.
She said
so take that for what you will. But I thought it was a good choice. So let's go ahead into the black vote. Let's take this shot.
Black vote.
Black vote. Because this, yeah.
Oh God. You want to take that one? I already know what you got to say about the black vote. I already know what you got to say. I'm gonna let her start.
If I can get it out, Uncle Nearest.
That joint hit me. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like my whole insides is
warm.
Everything is just. I'm trying to. That's why I said she could go first because I'm trying to process. See, she drink dark. I don't even drink that much.
Whew. Okay, so all right. So the black vote, right? Everybody knows election season. Yada 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 yada. I want to say though. Even though, the black vote is always that staple, this year it is not as, how can I say, it's not as stable as it's normally been. And that's because I think, in my personal opinion, black people are actually starting to wake up to the foolery that is the Democratic Party. And that is my personal opinion, and I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it because the Democratic Party continues year out and year in before I was born, after, before, during, whatever you want to come up with. They continue to make a mockery of the black vote because of a lot of ignorance, I'm just going to say, in the black community. The black community has a lot of ignorance towards certain type of policies, certain type of laws. And so they continue to play on that. And then they know a lot of times black people lead with their emotions, right? If you can tap into that little emotional side, it don't really matter what you're talking about, what you're giving. So me personally, the black vote is finally starting to be chipped at. It's starting to be, up for grabs, which it should be. No one party to me should have your vote in such a bag that they can literally ignore you because they know they have your vote and they know that you're just going to give it to them regardless of what they give you. I'm going to stop there and I'm just let Jules talk because I got a whole lot to say.
I know she got a lot to say. And it's okay because I got a lot to say too. So with the black vote and the Democrat and the Republican aspect of things, or even independent for that matter, or green, whatever it is you choose, okay? People gonna choose what's beneficial for themselves. That's what most people gonna do, right? So as a Democrat myself, Democrat, blue, all day, favorite color, all day, except for when it comes to them Cowboys, but blue all day. As a Democrat and as a Republican, I feel like, me personally, I feel like more when the Republican Party was formed, it was formed with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, first president to free the slaves, whatever the case may be. So it's all fine and dandy, right? The Democratic Party was the one that was like, okay, we're going to provide assistance, bam, 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 make sure everybody has everything they need, right? There's a lot of people out right there right now that don't have everything they need. Whereas a lot of Republicans, they're like for themselves. They have their houses, their property, their land, their this. They're like, I'm not paying for everybody else. I'm paying for myself. I came into this world by myself. I'm going to pay for myself. I'm going to live and supply my family with everything we need. And when I die, my family going to get everything that I made and they're going to carry it on to the next people. Unfortunately, Democratic people, they're not on that spectrum yet. And it's unfortunate that it's a lot of people that are in the lower end of things and they're not as smart or intelligent to know certain things. We've talked about this, like even with the taxes and stuff like that. So whereas Republican parties are all for themselves, Democrats are all for everyone else. Now, the problem becomes where the black vote is assumed that it's going to go to the Democratic Party. And it's a lot of people that have been black all their life. And it's like, why am I going to keep looking out for these Section 8 Bettys that wants to get food stamps and this, that, and the other and just lay on their back and have babies by multiple different men? Why am I going to keep supporting that? Okay. And that's why you have more people now becoming Republican because they're tired of taking care of everyone else. The thing is, it shouldn't have to be that way. There's a lot of people that I know that have been on public assistance, been on food stamps and stuff, and they needed it. And guess what they did? They flipped that shit. What they did was they used it for what they needed it for, and then they were able to go on and start businesses and go to school, take care of their kids, and now they no longer need those things. There's a couple people that are very successful, highly successful people that depended on those resources, and now they're doing good. The problem becomes when people think that they're going to rely on these services and think that they're going to live on them forever. And it's like, no person wants to take care of a person that is having kids multiple times and not learning their lessons. So as a black person, the black vote is only diminishing because black people have to learn to do better for themselves. And I'm so thankful for the black people that are out here making businesses and doing this and doing that. The thing is, now that they've done all that stuff for themselves, they don't want to look out for the people at the bottom no more. So at the bottom, if you're there at the bottom and you whatever, don't become so dependent on these programs that have been provided by the Democratic Party, because the reality is people getting tired of taking care of everybody else. And that's what it is. That's what it sounds like. People are tired of taking care of everybody else. But the thing is, we are not on an even playing field. Some people, white folks, y'all know, y'all folks had 300, 400 years to get ahead of us. You had 300, 400 years to get ahead of us, okay? So you expect what? We've been out of slavery and segregation for about not even 100 years yet. Not even really 100 years. And y'all expecting for people to really be able, black people, to be able to pick up and say, okay, after 100 something years, we're going to pick up and know all the tricks in the trade, and then we're going to be Republicans. That's just not the case. We're working at a disadvantage.
Well, okay.
We're working at a disadvantage, Micca, and you know that.
So, all right. So you said a couple of things. So when you speak to the point about Republicans, black people were Republicans.
Right.
Right? Because it makes more sense when you look at it economically, right? So your tax dollars, where your money goes, community, things like that, it makes more sense because when you get into the democratic aspects of things, you get into more of the social programs, the social this, the social that. I can't build in my own damn house if I'm giving everybody else money, right? And the whole thing about creating generational wealth is for your family to thrive, right? So if your family is thriving and then you're able to, because if I create a business, right, then I employed this family, I employed this family, and let's just say we're talking about black people, right?
Right.
I can employ this black family, I can employ this black family. Thus, this black family can make money and maybe work for me forever, or maybe make enough money to branch off and do whatever they want to do, right? But that will all boil down to different type of policies. If I make policies where you're only dependent, I can't do nothing with that, right? And so you create dependency and then you create complacency.
Correct.
Right? So, no, I don't agree with none of the Democratic policies because, one, if you go back to the quote-unquote policy of, what is that? I didn't have too many shots. It's the civil rights. The civil rights,
civil
right?
rights. She can't even
okay.
remember it.
Okay, so you go
That's
back.
that. That's that other side. That other side coming in. That mulatto. That mulatto side
the
coming through.
tragic mulatto, right?
She only want to face the reality. Keep going.
So you go back to civil rights, right?
Right.
Something that was supposed to be strictly for black people end up being for everybody else, but black people.
Right.
And that came from the Democratic Party, to where even Martin Luther King had to step back and say, this is not what I asked for. I'm going to take it, but it's not what I asked for. So now when you flash forward, like everybody else benefits from it, right? Everybody else benefits from it. You get people to make, and even though this is kind of off topic, that's why I don't agree with black women in the whole feminist movement. Because when you look at the effiness, I'm going to call it the effiness because I know the algorithm. When you look at the effiness movement, right? The effiness movement, okay?
Culture's real.
I know the algorithm. I know how y'all do. So the effiness movement is not a movement where minority women of black, Hispanic, whatever descent should be actually in, because it's not actually something that we benefit from, right? So when I look at all of that, I'm and compile it with the whole civil rights thing, I'm just like, black and minority people don't benefit from none of these things. They are the people that spearhead it, but they don't benefit from it.
But how do the blacks and low income people benefit from the Republican Party?
So if you actually look at that, right? As far as tax wise, right? You look at things like let's take something small like Uber. You take something small like Uber, right? If I'm able to create flexible timing when I want to go out and drive or whatever you do with Uber, right? I can do that. I can be a contractor. I can determine how much money I make.
Right.
Thus, the Democratic Party coming in, like they're doing in California, coming in and say, "Oh no, you should have a minimum wage. Let's pay you a minimum." So now you're telling me that I have to start at this amount. So let's say it's $19 an hour. $19 an hour in California is not going to do nothing for you, right? So now you take away my opportunity of making so much money. If I'm out there, if I'm usually I see it more, men driving, right? So if I'm a male that wants to take care of my family, I can go out there, I could drive, 16 hours a day.
Right.
I could make so much money. Working, now you're telling me that I have to be at $19 an hour. What am I making? And then now I'm a W-2 employee. Now we're back to the taxes. I have a degree in accounting. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense to be a W-2 employee when I don't have to be.
But then again, it's still going back to how does the Republican Party benefit?
Because the Republican Party
or low income. Okay, this is the question.
The Republican Party are not against.
Okay.
They're not against social programs.
Okay.
They're against putting so much money into social programs.
Okay.
And let's be clear. The Democrats aren't either, because if you go back to Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton actually tried to put a cap on it.
Okay.
He was saying in the 90s, look, after 5 years,
Okay.
what y'all doing?
Okay, so this is my point to that. This is my point. Good point, right? So you want in the same states, the Republicans are the same people that want to ban abortion in certain, or has banned abortion.
Okay.
It reverse Roe versus Wade. Okay.
Okay.
So by doing that, you have more people having children. Okay. So you're gonna have younger people having more children. Okay. In which case, guess what? They're not going to all be able, they're not going to be able to, they can't get an abortion in their states. They got to travel, and then guess what? They might get arrested because they got an abortion in another state, or however the case may. I don't know all the laws of it, so don't quote me. But what I'm going to say is this. How are you going to say you going to have that baby, whether you was raped, the baby was wrong, whatever, and then we're not going to, but we don't want to give you no assistance. We don't want to help you once you do have this baby. That's ass backwards if you ask me if you want to, because the reality is, how are you expecting people to bring kids into this world? You're telling them, you're making them have children, but you're also saying, we're not going to help you take care of them.
Okay. So 2 things. I think you're taking away personal responsibility, right? As a,
so if you're raped, that's a personal responsibility?
No, and I think that's actually one of the exceptions. Right?
I don't think so.
I think in most states that want to put constraints on abortions, I think rape is one of the one of the actual exceptions. But and just me personally, if you're raped, I totally understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's messy.
But with abortion is not a birth control method. And I know personally a lot of women that use abortion as a birth control method. 9 times out of 10, I've never seen women get abortions in the early stages. They're waiting. This is now an actual baby, right? This is not I hate this argument, the fetus. Like, ma'am, after 6 weeks, you now have a heartbeat. You in any medical society, if your heart is beating,
you're alive.
You're alive. So I don't care how small. It's just a pea size. I don't give a damn. It's alive.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you're okay with murder. You're literally okay with murder because this fetus is a life. So no, I don't agree with. And I'm not even religious. I'm not even religious. Just on a conscious basis, as a human being, as a soul, I'm like, nah, that don't make no sense. But when you get it down to politics and law, it doesn't make any sense to have a group of people not be able to take accountability, right? So as women, we understand. We know our biology. We talk all this. I'm smart. I have intuition. I have this and this and that. What happens to my body, my choice, right? Okay, so my body, my choice. Why don't you have more respect for your own body to not be able to be doing mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, right? So you have that aspect, but then you have the aspect of you have the baby, right? Because women, you can be a deadbeat mom. You can drop your baby off at the fire station, and those are deadbeats. I don't care if, oh my God, I can't afford it, There's tons of men that can't afford them children, and you still make them pay. So I'm going to hold women the same. I'm going to hold women accountable the same way. So what you can't pay, find a way. At the end of the day, you have women that use these things as a way to get out of situations. I'm not scapegoating the man. I'm just talking about women because I'm a woman. And it seems like we allow women to keep just escaping the facts of like life. Like you decided to do something. Like you have a choice. You didn't have to do it unprotected. You didn't have to do this. You could have took the Plan B pill. You could have did a ton of things before you even got pregnant.
Right.
Thus, even after with abortion, okay, you could get it done earlier. This and that. You choose to wait. You choose to do all these things. It's like 9-month abortion. It's like, why?
So on that note, and I think we've discussed this, y'all. We discussed this because me and Micca talk. Okay, that's why we doing this podcast because we don't have to agree on everything. But my thought is this: you have some women that are in certain parts of the country, world, wherever their geographic situation may be, that are not mentally in a good position, meaning triggers, trauma, generational curses. They plague us. They plague they plague the Black community. They've been plaguing it forever. Okay?
Which is what the abortions is, because you understand that they're not in certain communities.
They're not in certain communities. They're not. But the thing is, a young woman goes out, repeats a mistake that she's seen her mama, her auntie, her cousin that made. She goes out, have a baby at 17 years old. Now she's got to take care of this baby, probably in school, got to drop out of school, take care of the baby, get a job, whatever the case may be. Now, the thing is, why was she having sex? Well, generational curses, a lot of different things happen, okay? Now, the thing is, there's a lot, that growth time when you learn certain stuff or certain stuff is putting you at a certain age and then you repeat it out later on in life. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of triggers, and they end up repeating certain habits that they see right in front of them, right? So at some point as a society, we got to find a way to nip it in the bud, okay? Yeah. Now, I don't expect for a young girl in the middle of a hood to know that she has all these other options. I'm not expecting for her to know, but it's my job as someone that does know the options to give her those options, okay? So if she can't afford her child, then what options are we giving to people once they had this baby, because they have to have a baby, and at that point, we don't want to provide them assistance? What are the options that we're providing them as an alternative method? And so my whole thing is, I don't have an issue with certain things, but I have an issue with people assuming that people in low-income neighborhoods or people that are Black or minority neighborhoods, they're going to know certain things. They're not going to know all their rights. They may assume that their body, most women assume their body can get them a man or something like that of the nature. So then a young man go do whatever, skeet, Twinkie, and then you got a baby coming, and guess what? Them kids is 17 years old. They don't know. They ain't even grown. They not even, at 17, your mind ain't even all the way to develop. Now, what I will say is I had my daughter at 18, okay? Mm-hmm. I had my daughter at 18, going on 19, literally turned 19 4 days later. And at that point, that's my only child, my only one. I knew that it was hard. It was not easy. I love my child, my daughter to death, right?
What you just said, you knew. I don't like.
You knew.
I don't care about that. That 25, my mind is fully developed. Look, I'm not even religious, mm-hmm. and to people that are religious, mm-hmm. the Bible even holds you accountable at certain ages, right? Because you know. So at the same time, yeah, you can say you're not mature on certain things, but you know. So
I knew.
But everybody knows. They choose to ignore. No, they choose to ignore things. And then let's say we get to a point where just certain people need help. Mm-hmm. Fine. I'm not going to help you for the life term of your life. No, right?
I agree.
And coming from DC, we know the certain project mm-hmm. areas where they've been there. Your mama, your grandmama, your this and this. All y'all have been
they inherited and they don't own nothing. And
it's ridiculous. And who's paying for it? So it gives me no incentive to do good mm-hmm. because why would I do good? She's been living here for free forever.
Well, they just said that. I was watching the thing and they were saying in New York, they was like, really, when you have a rocket kids and no job, you get way more benefits. And I was like, damn. My thing is this.
And that's how a lot of hood boogers. We brought it back to the Democratic Party. They're incentivizing you mm-hmm. to not do better because it's not nothing that's going to make you rich, but at least you don't have to struggle. We'll give you the money, but we're not going to make you rich. So where at least if you come on the other side. Now, I'm not a Republican, but I tend to vote more Republican because it incentivizes enterprise. It incentivizes innovation. You only create generational wealth off of that type of stuff.
Correct.
You're not going to create generational wealth off of I'm going to stay on welfare.
No, you're not.
Because the moment you get a job on welfare, you're done.
Right. And that's where, for me, and at one point, I had to use public assistance. Well, not public assistance, but I had to use food stamps when I was in school. Okay.
Right.
And the reality was, it helped me. But did I want to? But did I want to live on it? But did I want to live on it? No, I didn't want to live on it. It was a way to get by while I was in school to take care of my child. And it took a lot for me to do it. It was like a minute. And my father was like, Julia, you need to do this. You need to do this. But the thing about it, I allowed my pride to get in the way of providing more for my family because but it was obligated to me. Right. Because it's like, if you're not working, if you don't have an income, if you're in school, I was allotted those benefits. But even then, when I went to those courses that I had to do just to get food stamps, you had to take a class, right? They don't have that no more. And they don't have that no more. But when I was in that class, I was able to pour into other young women, right? And even though I looked at it as like, damn, this is a messed up situation. Like, I'm actually, this is my first time publicly even saying that. But I had to do what I had to do for my child. And at that point, when I went to this class with other women that told me they had 3 different kids, 3 baby fathers and all that other stuff, I looked at my situation. I was like, damn, it's not that bad. But at the same time, I had to tell them, like, this is not something that we're supposed to live on forever. Mm-hmm. This is only for us to do for temporary situation. Go to school, get your degree. While your children of a certain age, go to school and get your degree while you out here. Like, cause we're in this class. And see, for me, I was in school taking this class just to get benefits. So I didn't have to go to that class that much because I was also in school. So people like, how come she don't got to come to the class all the time? The guys like, cause she in school.
If you are in the same class with other people who are in the same class, if you can do that, then why can't they?
Because it's where they were brought up at. Where, like, for me,
same class.
I get you, but it's a lot of people that come from the same household and don't do the same thing. So I can't sit here and assume that every one of those women were going to be privy to the information that I had. I personally did research. I personally had to know more to do more. And so for me, I chose the steps to say, okay, I'm going to use this for right now. And then once I get out of school, I'm going to do whatever. And I ain't even going to lie to you. When them food stamps stopped coming, a shawty was like, God damn. I was like, that little money was just kind of helping. But at the same time, I was so thankful that I didn't have to depend on it. I didn't have to worry about, the date that my stamps was going to clear or anything like that. And this is just like a transparent moment. This is the first time I ever saying that because life got hard. And so for me, I saw it firsthand for myself that, like my mom, when she passed when I was 11, I got all this money and I blew the money. Okay. And I was young. There was no one to tell me, go get an LLC. There was no one to tell me to go and get an EIN. There was no one to tell me to do that. Why? Because my father, he didn't even have a diploma.
But look at that, right? Okay. So there's no one to tell you, right?
There was no one.
There's no one to tell you, right? But when you do know and you know certain things, there's nobody saying, especially from the Democratic Party, saying, hey, I understand you're in a bind. I understand this. Okay, this may help you. But let's try to work to get you off. No, it's just, you need to help these people. You need to do this. You need to do that. And you got to think, if I'm a person that is doing for myself, that is trying to do the right thing, it's asinine to tell me that I have to do something for someone that doesn't want to do anything.
Got you.
It's asinine to tell me that.
I got you. So to that point, what I had to learn even now, I had to learn that you never know when you're going to have, you never know when you're going to have a down moment. Okay. And so within that, I look at it, I have a completely different completely different trajectory on life and how I look at people in those situations. So, like I said, when you know more, you do more. So the only thing I can do is tell a person more in order for them to do more. So if I'm out and I see somebody, like the day I seen this guy, he asked me for $1. Okay. Now I'm going to tell y'all 100%. I will look out for a woman that needs some money, but I am very reluctant to look out for a man that needs some money.
Why?
Why? Because I feel I've seen a man firsthand. My father had no diploma, but yet he made sure I was taken care of. So to me, it's no excuse for any man not to have a job.
Ma'am, okay, you sound like a Republican.
I'm not. This is the thing.
But that's the thing.
I do have Republican perspectives on things, but I am a true Democrat because at the end of the day, I still want to look out for my single mamas that may be out here struggling, that may not know better.
But in this day and time, right, you do understand that most of the jobs are going to the women.
They are
right?
going to the women.
So there are a lot of men who are not getting help that actually need help, and they won't get it because they're just a man.
That's.
So you see what I'm saying?
That's buffoonery. You know why?
But why the Democratic Party don't want to help them?
Let me tell you why.
Why the Democratic Party? You know why the Democratic Party don't want to help them? Because they understand that that a man on welfare is more likely to get off and go and actually, yes, this is a fact. A man on welfare will more than likely get off and say, I wanna be greater than just being on welfare.
No, I don't agree.
Hold on.
I don't agree.
Women, we have that mindset. I want it to be taken care of, right? The government is now your man instead of the man being your man. So you want to be taken care of. So now you're sitting on the government saying, I'm gonna relax, like you would do with a man. I'm going to relax because he got it. The government got it. They understand that. And they're going after black women or Hispanic women. They're not, even white women. They're going after them. They're not going after men because they understand that men will take a helping hand, but then they'll say, I need to be here.
I don't agree with that. I'm gonna say this, and I love my black man. I love him. But I see way more black men asking people for money than I've seen a black woman ask for money.
But men won't get help.
No, this is the thing.
My
thing is this: if you see you see me getting out my car.
Yeah.
Why do you assume that because you see me getting out in a nice car that I have $1 to spare for you as a black man? My thing is this: at least offer to say, "Ma'am, can I pump your gas? Ma'am, can I do this? Ma'am, can I do that?" No. What has happened is a lot of these men have become lazy. And guess what? If they're not out here getting it for themselves, they're going to go be with a bitch that's on Section 8 and they're going to live off of her ass.
Okay.
Living off of the government.
I can agree with you there. And that's still more Democratic policies.
But it's still more
Democratic policies.
But guess what? For black men, it is opportunities. First, I can name about 5 jobs that a black man can do with or without a degree. You can go take your ass to the post office, the Marines. You can go work for Metro. This is in the DMV area. Your ass can be a fucking a postal person. You can go be a mechanic. You can go get a trade. By all means, you can cut grass, for goodness sake. You can start your own car wash business.
I would agree,
but the thing is, they're not aware. See, there would probably be more, and this is to you, to some point. It could probably be more black Republicans if black Republicans knew the resources that Republicans offered. They are not privy to that information. No one is giving them that information.
You know why? But you want to watch? Right. Take DC. Take DC. If a Republican comes in, they're not even hurt. Matter of fact, take Baltimore. They had a black woman, and I do mean a black woman, not a mulatto, not half this, because y'all like to get on me. So none of this, right?
Some mulatto. Okay. I love you though.
Kim Klacik, right? Regardless of whatever her damn past is,
right?
She ran on principle because she was from the hood,
right?
Right, and that's with a T, the hood,
right?
She was from the hood, and she understood what it took to get out.
Right.
Because she literally just was a Republican, they didn't hear her. Right? And so you have a group of people that has just been brainwashed so bad that they don't even want to hear the other side.
Right.
And that's what bothers me. I really don't care that a lot of people want to be Democrats.
Right.
I don't care. The problem is when you put all your eggs in one basket. If all the independent women and all this other stuff can understand that putting all the eggs in one basket with a man and all this other stuff can be detrimental, why can't you understand that with your policies and what you pay in taxes and things like that, right? You put all your eggs in the Democratic basket.
Right.
In order to get somebody to fight for you, you have to let them know that, hey, there's competition. So you got to tell me what you're going to actually give me that benefits me.
True.
And when there's no competition, there is no need for me to say, well, I need to do this because I know you only going to come to me. If it's only me,
I can dig that. But see, this is the part, and I'm going to say this because people always be saying Obama didn't do anything. Okay.
And that's
you. That's you. But for someone like myself, some policies are not in benefit for every person in this country. That's just the reality. They can't appease every single person. Everyone is going to say, "Oh, well, they did this for that person, and
But if
they
you can
did this
give
for
that,
that
but if you can
person."
give that credence to, if you can give that credence to that aspect, then what is the point of saying, well, I don't like that they did this for the rich? Because if I'm the person providing the jobs, why don't you benefit me at all? Why don't I get a break?
But
if I'm providing you the jobs, if I'm providing the general public the jobs.
So, and then we talk about generational wealth, and we talk about the next generation, and we talk about the world after we leave. The thing is, when you come into this world, we're not just designed to just create it for now. We're designed to create it for the future and the people to come after us. So in theory, what Obama did was, for me, personally, because somebody told me online recently, Obama ain't do nothing for me. And I want to tell this person, he did. Okay. Politely, he did. So for the senior citizens, for my father, who may he rest in peace, he had to deal with an amputation. And it was a lot that came with that amputation, in which case it was a lot of things that Obama put in place for Medicare that helped him. So we were able to get a nurse to come out and treat his wound because he had both his toes, big toes, amputated. This is while I was in school as a student, in which at that particular year, with Obama being in office, the two parties or people that were benefiting were seniors and students, both in which I was affected. So therefore, Obama's policies and stuff, it helped me. And so I feel bad for the people that it did not benefit, but it did benefit me. And at that particular time, it was needed. And so when you look at a person like myself and you can say, fuck that girl, fuck Jules. I don't know her. I'm never going to need to work with Jules. But I'm a person, I'm a human, and you never know when you're going to be in a messed up situation.
But at the same time,
it could be your father.
But at the same time, you look at it only from that end, right? And I can agree with you, right?
Right.
And most of us taxpayers who have a higher income, we're paying it, right? Okay. But you also don't want to look at it on our end. If I'm the innovator and I'm providing people with jobs, why is it that you don't have that same sympathy for me? Because I got it out the mud too, and I'm providing jobs, I'm providing this, I'm providing that.
Right.
Hey, I need a break on this and that so I can do more. I can't expand and pay you more if I can't get any type of break.
So to
I'm
that
gonna
point,
go over here to China and every place else where I can get that break. And now I have this expansive company and everybody in India. That's why when you call Sprint or everybody else, you hear because I can pay them.
Okay. So 2 points, right? So this is one thing I'm going to say. Okay. So back to black men, and I'm going to come back to this point. Black men, if that's the case that a black man can get any job, why is it that migrants come from a whole nother country? Because you talked about this last time. Yeah. Migrants can come from a whole nother country, do a whole construction job and everything like that without even documentation that they even born in this country.
I'm Cuban, so I can speak to that.
Whereas black men, they act like they too good to do certain positions, so they may not take a construction job. But shout out to all the black men or people that just have blue collar jobs out here construction. Y'all are appreciated. Y'all gave us the buildings that we have. Thank you very much. But to the point with black women, it's like we've almost become entitled to certain benefits or whatever, right? And certain hoods. The same way white men are entitled to their money.
Well, I'm glad you used the word entitled.
Entitled. But there's a lot of people that are feeling entitled to certain things. And the thing is, I enjoy looking out for people. Like, so for me, if I had $1 million, why not look out for somebody that has less than me? Especially, it's not even just on a money perspective, but it's on an educational level. If this person doesn't have the resources, the tools to know about taxes and the laws that come with that, then it is my job as a black woman that knows those things to be able to support those people in those positions. And so I don't look at it as just like, oh, this is my money, bam, bam, bam. I look at it like, if I have this to provide for myself, then why not look out for someone else personally? And my thing is, we were not born into this world to just be of service for ourselves. We were here to be of service for other people.
Right.
So
I agree, but
it comes back to you. So when you do good for others, it comes back to you. So my thing is, nothing bad happened to a person that did good for someone, right?
I agree with that.
It comes back.
Every business is being in service to somebody, right? You have to have a business. You have to have a mission to be in service to something that somebody needs.
Correct.
But at the same time, right, you have to be able to say that person has to want it. They have to want it. What's that old saying that your grandma used to say? You can bring a horse to the well, but you can't make him drink.
Make it drink, right?
I can keep sitting here on YouTube or any place else and keep saying what I'm saying. But if you're not receptive to it, if you're not actually looking for it, you're not going to see it. So now I'm responsible that you don't want to seek it. So now I'm responsible twice. I'm responsible for the fact that you're not doing well, and I'm responsible for the fact that you don't seek the information.
Okay.
So that's where it gets me. I'm a barb, just to let you know. It gets me because
Bigfoot.
it gets me because I'm responsible twice. And as an adult, I don't feel like I should have the personal responsibility for everybody. And I have it for myself and others around me, right? But I think if I help the ones around me at my table, and even people that I agree with or disagree with, because I love Jules, but I have a responsibility to them. I don't have a responsibility to everybody.
Right.
And so to say that I owe everybody something is asinine to me. And I owe nobody nothing. But I feel like people that pour into me, I pour into them, whether I agree with them or not. If you pour into me, I will pour into you. And to tell me that I owe somebody something that does nothing for me, that does nothing for the people around me, I can't get with. And that's why I will never get with policies that say I have to do something. And to the last point on this, as immigrants, as my family being immigrants, I just don't see a country as fruitful as America has been to people. Like, I know people that come from nothing, and it being my family, to come over here and to see, okay, yeah, I can get this, I can get that, I can get that, and actually make something of it to where they use that initially and then move on. To where people have been here their entire life and generations and can't see that they can use this. Yes, you on welfare.
Yeah.
But you can use that as a springboard to move on to something else.
That's how you're supposed to use it.
I can't see I can't see that as, yes, I'm stuck here. No, you're not. You stuck yourself there.
Right.
You put yourself there. Yeah, you were born into poverty, but you don't have to stay there.
Correct.
And so I have empathy for it, but beyond that, I can't see beyond that. I have empathy. I can't see beyond that.
I have empathy because of the situation that I was in from my experience. And so this is where, people have to be respectful of people's experience. Like, I respect your experience, and I respect where you have come from, because you wouldn't be Micca if you didn't go through what you went through.
Correct.
And I wouldn't be Jules if I wouldn't.
Correct.
Because like I always tell you, pressure made Jules.
Correct.
And the pressure made me who I am.
I appreciate it, because I love hearing opposites of what I believe in. But to say that I owe somebody something, I don't owe my mama. Okay, I don't owe my mama. So to owe a person that I don't even know,
right?
It bothers me, because if I get up and do it, you can get up and do it. True. Me and you come from two different sides of the track, and you still did it. So to say that somebody else can't do it, it don't make no sense. Don't make no sense.
No, I will say it's no excuses. It's no excuses. It really is. And like, for me personally, like, I done had it all, lost it all, and now I'm climbing back to the top to get it back all. So, the thing is, for me, I had the determination and the will to never give up. I had the ability to look at my child as not as a check, but as my reason to do better. Yeah. Because my thing is, how can I tell my child to do better? How can I raise this little girl that's going to be a woman? Well, she is a woman now, but how could I have raised her as a child and then into a woman? My thing is, my job wasn't to raise her to be a child. My job was to raise her to be a woman. Yeah. So in society, we are not doing that per se. And it's unfortunate. Like, there's a lot of people that are not mentally there yet. And so I feel bad for them. My empathy is for the people that don't get it. My empathy is for the people that will never get the information or the resources that I have, or to know that you can go online and get a grant right now, that you can go online right now and get other things for businesses. Because my thing is, if you're on public assistance and stuff and you're at home right now, boo, go start a business. Go get you an LLC. Are you taking care of kids right now? Go be a babysitter. Start a daycare center. If you know how to cook, boo, do some food. Go get your LLC. Meal prep. You know, there's opportunities out here. So for me to end this conversation, to end this segment portion, I want to encourage people to understand the Republican Party. One, you need to understand that you don't have to choose Democrat. You could choose Republican. But when you choose Republican, that means you're looking out for yourself and those that are trying to do good for themselves, okay? So when you're looking out for the Democrats, you're looking out for people that may not know, they know less. They don't know everything, but goodness gracious, that doesn't mean they should go without because they don't know the information. So for me, that's the reason why I choose what I choose, but I respect Micca's perspective because that's based off of Micca's experiences. And I think that to really end this, I want to say that people need to understand that there's a respectful way to address your differences and agree to disagree, because people don't even understand that. They assume that a Democrat and a Republican can't be friends. Well, you're not even Republican per se.
Yeah, I'm independent, but I get why people put me in the Republican space, because I tend to vote more Republican because I'm into businesses and enterprising and things like that, because I know people can do it. Like, I don't give a damn what you want to have as a business, right? Everything can be in service to somebody. Somebody wants it. I'm sure of it. But I will say this, as a quote unquote, I don't identify with this, but a quote unquote minority woman, right? I know that there are opportunities out there for you to be able to do, for you to be able to thrive in, and it doesn't serve you as a Black woman, Hispanic woman, to actually sit in the fact that you're a victim. Because just because you come from less fortunate circumstances, you may start at the back, but it's a race. It's not, it is as long as you're able to run,
Right.
you can get it.
Right.
Yeah, you may have hurdles, right? Everybody watches the race. You understand what a hurdle is. Yeah, you may have to jump over something. But you're still running.
But then, okay, so
still running.
So this brings up another point, Micca. You have people that are in the crab in the barrel, Black community, crab in the barrel. So
the Black, Hispanic, all that, because
Hispanic. I feel like Hispanics look out for each other a little bit more. We are like the one race that will pull another one down to get ahead.
I'll say this: as being a mixed race person, what does give me a good advantage is having to see all of the sides, right? Being Black, being from Black, Spaniard, and Caucasian descent, I'm able to see all of the sides. And I will say this: there are Hispanic people, preferably my family coming from Cuba, with nothing. There are white people coming from nothing, right? But outside of America, right? Because my family's not from America. Coming outside of America, you understand opportunities when you're in poverty. You understand that whatever you can get, you can build off of. When you're inside of America, you think that you're entitled to it, right? So there's two different mindsets. That's the reason why immigrants come over here and flourish.
Of course.
Right? As well as certain things that are told to them, right? But that still, ignorance still doesn't excuse you to want to get up and do it yourself. And that is the only reason why I don't give credence to the whole, well, I don't have anything, right? Because at the end of the day, you can get up and make it happen.
True.
So
Ignorance is bliss, though. Ignorance is
it
bliss.
it
And you know
is.
why it's
It
ignorance
is.
bliss? As you're talking, I was thinking, I'm like, ignorance is bliss because if you say you don't know how to do it, that means you don't.
You
need
get
to
out
do
of it.
So
You
it's
get
like
out of
it's
it.
like it's like you telling your husband or somebody
You get out
to
of
clean
it.
this up, and they don't do it the way it's
how to
supposed to
do
be
it.
done, and it's like, all right, don't do it. I'll do it for
Right,
you.
you get out
So
of
it's
it.
like, but
You
it's
get
too many
out of it.
people that are living in that. But it's like you don't have to be in that situation. Yes, people come from another country and they see the beauty that we have. Like I went to Jamaica one time. And the guy was like, "Oh, America, you guys are so entitled. You're so this. You're so
Yes.
that."
Because
and it's
everybody else doesn't
get it.
get these type of opportunities. Now, when you're in it, you might say, "Oh, it's not much," but somebody else literally put in a pot for you to do something.
Right.
No matter how little, how small. If somebody gave you $10 and you didn't have $10, that's a lot.
Right.
So use it to your advantage versus feeling entitled. Like I'm entitled to it, because if you go to these other countries, they don't have any of
You
this.
gotta work for it.
They don't have any of this. So at the end of the day, even though we're on different sides, we agree to the same point that you gotta get your ass up and get it. Like you gotta get up and get it. And with that, we're gonna end the Red Cup podcast. As always, I'm your girl, Micca, the Badass Unicorn.
And it's your girl, Just Right Jules.
And this is the Red Cup podcast.
Tune in.
Peace.